Previously on Game of Drones.
But no one making a hatchery there now because all the attention is in the middle of the map, and TLO and Druids going at it here. It's a massive air battle, and he has Hydras and Spine Crawlers in the back as well, and now sending in his Zerglings. We do have a counter of drones and Zerglings going to the top right. This is what TLO needs to do. He needs to fungo down these Corruptors. The Corruptors are very weak right now. It's infrastructure, but that is the backup infrastructure, and I don't believe it. Stake from TLO. Those carriers starting to do work, but it looks like TLO immediately brings back his ground troops. My computer is lagging. Vortex goes down on some of the Broodlords, but a nice spread by TLO. Here are the Corruptors. That is going to be all she wrote. TLO going in with some of his Broodlords. Nice spread of Broodlords as well. That is really good from him. Now, oh, the Vortex goes to Zerglings, but that was pretty much for free. And now Cable switching into Void Rays. It looks like TLO is going to crush this Protoss army with absolute impunity. And Zerg so strong. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of Game of Drones. This is your broadcaster, HD. Hope you guys have enjoyed the little montage I put together. It's time for some more Game of Drones here from TLO. Obviously, you guys have really enjoyed the set that I've been doing so far, and this is, of course, Game 4, otherwise Episode 4. He is going to be the red Zerg at the right side of Metalopolis. His opponent will be Type STW, and it is going to be another ZVZ here. Very exciting times here in the land of TLO. As in the very first game, of course, you guys saw him take out Druids in a ZVZ on Ohana. Following that, another challenger coming up on Ohana by the name of Kanadon. He was able to make mincemeat of him as well. And that was a Protoss player, and following that, another Protoss brethren tried to challenge TLO on a different map on Daybreak, and he fell to TLO as well. And now we are here for game number 4, episode 4 of this absolutely epic series. And of course, for those of you guys who don't know, Game of Drones is TLO, otherwise known as the Little One of the most famous StarCraft 2 players. And having changed his name to Game of Drones a couple of months ago, I do want to apologize. I haven't casted a game of TLO in so long. I wasn't aware that he had changed his name, but thank you guys in the community for making it known to me in the comments down below. Keep posting comments, by the way. That's where I can learn how to improve my casting and see what you guys really want for me to show you guys. Apparently a lot of people wanted to see more from Game of Drones, and the rest of these replays I'll be doing is from his replay pack that he just released about 4 or 5 days ago, so these are relatively recent games. And you guys are keeping me on the ball. You're not giving me an opportunity to go ahead and try League of Legends yet. But that's okay. I think a lot of people out there have been wanting me to stay away from League of Legends, so that's going to be on the back burner for a little bit longer. And very exciting times here. By the way, guys, I do have a couple of announcements I want to make. Check out ESVTVSC. Once again, that is ESVTVSC. That's a YouTube channel for the Korean Weekly, where you guys can see more awesome StarCraft 2 content brought to you by fellow pro gamers such as Orb, Axel Toss, and A2BC. And they're bringing you guys some really great StarCraft 2 games from the Korean Weekly. Once again, it is ESVTVSC. And by the way, have you guys checked out HeyNiceBeard.com? Because that is where you can see the epic beard that Game of Drones is growing. No king can be a king without his beard. And he is definitely growing that out to the maximum right now. A lot of funny YouTube responses to that as well that you guys can probably find if you search. And let's get to this game. The red Zerg on the right, once again, is TLO, aka Game of Drones, aka God. And in the Game of Drones, you only win or you die. So we will see what happens here, and a couple of Zerglings making their way across the map. It does look like STW opened up with... Actually, I did not catch his opening build, so I do apologize, guys. But both players have gotten a expansion down. Looks like STW got his a little bit earlier, but of course that means TLO will have his Zerglings out on the map before his opponent, now doing a little bit of pressure. Can he get a Queen kill here? That would be absolutely huge. The Queen is taking a little bit of damage. There's only 3 Zerglings here to defend the Queen. TLO is going to actually go for the kill here. Not going to focus the last Zergling down. There is one Zergling in the Nook, and he has to pull away. So actually losing a couple of Zerglings there is TLO, but that's okay. He applied a little bit of pressure. Didn't really lose anything serious, and we can see now both players going into a Baneling nest. Now, of course, if you guys are new to StarCraft 2, Baneling Nests are the building that allows Zerg to construct one of the most devastating Zerg units ever. It allows the Zerglings here, these little doggies, to morph into the green sacks of destruction. And momentarily here, we're going to see Zergling Baneling wars from both these players. I will be leaving the scoreboard up as well, by the way, guys, since so many people said, you know, it's very helpful to leave up, especially since it's a mirror matchup. A couple of Zerglings making their way in here from TLO. Very nice. That's going to be able to scout out the building, which is another Baneling Nest coming up. And now both players are privy to the fact that there is going to be Baneling Wars here. And in Baneling Wars, there is no winner. You all die. And here we go. It looks like a couple of Banelings morphing on the ramp. Type STW trying to make his way in, but he was able to scout the Banelings. So now he has confirmed that his opponent too is going for Banelings. And in this highly volatile matchup, you really need to control those Zerglings and Banelings so well. Can be extremely difficult to do. You've got to micro the Banelings away from lone Zerglings, which are used to train and detonate the Banelings. And you want to maximize your costs here. We can see a couple of Banelings microing around the map. Both players actually controlling two different battlefronts here. TLO gets a couple of Zergling kills, going to chase those Zerglings away, and now he's training one of his Zerglings on the Baneling. That's exactly what you want to do. That will force the detonation on this Baneling, and it actually gets two Zerglings. TLO could have gotten that Baneling kill off for the price of one, but two is still a very good trade. TLO doing a good job here. But STW macroing quite a few Zerglings now on the field. In fact, making 28 Zerglings is STW. That's quite a few Zerglings now. Game of Drones is going to have to micro these Banelings perfectly, but now there are more Banelings coming from his opponent. This is such a volatile matchup. TLO is going to have to keep those Banelings alive. Good detonation from him. Anytime you can get 4 or more, that's always cost effective. In fact, 3 is pretty good as well. But 4 obviously is much better than that. And here comes SCW with this horde of Zerglings. Both players, meanwhile, in their bases, macroing more Zergling forces out. No transitionary tech yet. When the first player begins to get roaches, that is when you need to be careful. You need to start making roaches as well. And nice try from TLO to once again detonate the Baneling, but it looks like SCW is coming in here with many Zerglings and Banelings. TLO with a massive detonation, though. Once again, TLO, the red Zerg. He gets another decent det off. He kills off 4 Banelings for the price of 2. And he gets rid of the rest of the Banelings at the front door. Very nicely done by TLO. STW loses the majority of his forces. He can still get some drone kills, though. Inside with his Baneling right now. Gets off 2 drones. And he's going to run the merry-go-round inside the main for now. Actually has more Zerglings coming in at the same time. That's quite a bit of Zerglings here. It's an absolute invasion. TLO will have to call back troops, but he's actually attacking at the same time. Not sure why he did not morph those into Banelings. He's actually got Banelings to the north. Could bring those in at any time. It's absolute chaos right now in the land of TLO, and what is he going to do to hold this off? It looks like he's got enough Zerglings and drones. Kills off those Banelings at the right time. I believe those are enemy Banelings, and he killed them off the right time. Meanwhile, trying to get his Banelings in to the enemy natural. Type SCW's got to micro these drones away. Drone worker kill currently favoring SCW at 11. And total income tabs showing both players quite even as well. So it's a pretty even economic game. But when we look at the army tabs and the supply tabs, obviously heavily favoring TLO here. He was able to keep way more Zerglings alive battle after battle. And the more infantry you have, the more soldiers you have, the more likely you are to win at this war. Couple of Zerglings coming in. Detonation on the Zerglings. SCW has got to micro his Zerglings much better than this. Otherwise, he's going to fall victim as his previous Zerg brother, Druids, led us. Once again, TLO accepting a challenge from another Zerg here in the Game of Drones. And this is quite literally a game of drones. Whoever has the most economy usually will win out. A couple of Banelings coming in here, but a double crawler wall erected by SCW. Brilliantly done. And those crawlers are really going to play a safe game, but it looks like TLO chose to detonate on the crawlers. Not like he really had a choice, because the Banelings were near death anyway, so he detonates and kills off 2 crawlers. But I do think he threw away quite a bit of forces, and he's got a Zergling inside his base at the same time as well. Able to kill that off. Very tenuous game right now. I did note there was a Roach Warren coming up as well. I'm not quite sure who got the Roach Warren, but we could see a massive explosion here. Prepare yourselves. TLO playing this game on a thin sheet of ice, as is opponent. And the thing here from TLO is he is being very aggressive. If he loses too many forces here, he gives SCW the opportunity for a huge counterattack, which can obviously spell the doom of him. And if he falls, man, I actually don't know in this replay pack. I am not sure if he ever loses. I'm assuming that there's going to be a couple of losses, but so far he has won all the games already. Can he keep the win streak up? Couple of banelings coming out here. Oh, minor detonation, nothing too serious. He's got to be careful though. SCW could lose. Oh, Game of Drones. AKA TLO manually detonating his baneling, thinking there's an opportunity for him to kill off more Zerglings, but it looks like SCW with a bait, juke, and switch, and sending them in and then running him at the last second. He could do it again! Oh my goodness! SCW has lost so many Zerglings this game, but if we look at the loss tab, actually both players taking heavy losses, almost 5,000 accrued for SCW as well. And this is such a tense game. And I'm going to get an opportunity to go ahead and check. Oh, a couple of Zerglings come in. I'm going to see who got the Roach Horn. It was SCW who went up to Roaches. And he is also researching +1 weapons. This is such a crazy game. 5,000 resources have been lost from both sides already. And it's only 15 minutes into this game. As is the volatility of ZVZ. There will always be blood spilled. A Baneling here is killed off before it could hatch from its cocoon. Couple of Zerglings here from TLO trying to detonate the Banelings before they can come into a dangerous range. Now they are marching on enemy territory, and TLO has to be careful about this. He has no defenses except for a couple of crawlers. Also has 3 queens though. And should be able to make the defense against these Banelings, but here comes the Zerglings coming in once again, but SCW could get a couple of drone kills, but very nice micro. Oh my god! TLO with a huge trap play there, had Banelings waiting on the ramp, detonated them all across the Zerglings, and once again makes a brilliantly, masterfully executed hold. And just when you think the going gets tough in ZVZ, man, one of these Zerg players just rises up to the challenge and is able to flip the script at the very last second. Speaking about flipping the script here, we do have a Spire on the way from TLO, and he's obviously going to utilize that to take to the skies here on the other side of the map. SCW going for Roach's +1 weapons, about to finish as well as Roach speed. So we can see a change of strategy here from both these players, a departure from the Zergling Baneling phase once the 15-minute period ends. And the nice thing here is I think Muta is obviously going to be much more effective against Roaches. However, in a base trade situation, Roaches, I believe, do have the favoring because they can take down buildings so much faster, especially with that +1 weapons finishing up. And if you were worried about lack of mobility from the Roaches for SCW, worry not, because he is getting a Nidus network, and that is going to allow him to essentially teleport wherever he damn well pleases on the map. This is getting pretty crazy here. TLO actually as well getting glio reconstitution, which is of course the scientific word for Roach speed. So he is maybe going to make a transition back down into Roaches after these initial 6 Mutalisks. And we'll see, man. These mutas are going to have to do some pretty good damage. Remember, that is 600 minerals, 600 gas invested into a very expensive and fragile unit that can do a lot of damage, and hopefully they reach their potential here for TLO. It looks like the Nidus Worm was killed off. There was a worm that was trying to come up inside the main, but we can see another worm coming up at the same time here, actually coming up towards the 3rd expansion of TLO. And look at the minimap. It's just a polka dot of red and blue. If SCW was green, I would be saying Merry Christmas right now, but maybe SCW does have some gifts for TLO. He's sending in a bunch of Roaches here. TLO not prepared for this. The Queen falls, and God has lost the Queen. God has lost the Queen. Will TLO respond to this? The hatchery is going to fall at the 2nd expansion. Now the Mutalisks must reveal themselves upon the enemy units. SCW could do a lot of damage here. We can kill off another hatchery. That would be an absolutely devastating blow to TLO. He will not have enough economy to stay in this game. The hatchery taking serious damage. A couple of transfuses attempting to keep it alive, but it ends up falling. And now drones will be the casualty here. Nice little stop position here to keep the Roaches tucked in though. And TLO will actually kill off all the Roaches. But damn, he lost a lot of drones in that engagement. Utilizing the civilians to trap the enemy warriors. As brave as they were, a lot of them went down, and TLO not in the best of positions right now, but you have to remember that he still has these Mutalisks in the sky. He could try to get back in this game, but he is behind right now, actually going to try to recover his losses, maybe recuperate a little bit by expanding towards the very bold and risky gold. And now it looks like SCW also trying to get an expansion of his own. clearing out a couple of banelings there as Mutalisks arrive to ward the roaches away, and that hatchery may actually just get up as the Overlords are kind of serving as a decoy here. Nope, it looks like SCW is going to wait for his Hydralisks to come up. A switch of tech here will kill off the 2 Mutalisks, and we can see another hatchery coming now. But SCW certainly holding the lead in this game at this moment. However, remember, he did lose a significant chunk of his army, and TLO was recovering in the eco game pretty quickly with that gold expansion. Has a couple of Zerglings inside the main. That will be deflected by the Hydralisks. This is such a crazy game of ZVZ. I love watching Game of Drones. This is awesome. And looks like he may be able to kill off his hatchery with these Mutalisks. Baneling coming in. Little saboteur that it is. It was not able to detonate on anything precious though. And at this moment, let's just go ahead and take a look at all the tabs in this game. Here we have 8 PM sitting at a very high rate for both players, obviously. TLO flying in here, picks off the queen. So he avenges his former queen's death. Let's take a look at spending here. Very even on all sides, except SCW maybe leading a bit in the technology department. As is to be expected, he did invest into Nidus, into more upgrades on the ground. He's actually at 2 weapons and the Hydralisks. TLO actually not really doing so hot in the upgrade department, is only at +1 weapons, but he has the advantage through the skies. There is another Nidus coming down though, and oh wow, SCW knows all about the gold hatchery. TLO immediately pulls his drones away from harm's path, but he is also going to kill off the hatchery in exchange as the ground troops are all the way on the right side. And will SCW kill off this hatchery? A little bit of hesitation from him, costing him the opportunity to kill off the hatchery, and he loses his third third hatchery. But at the end of the day, it looks like SCW's just got too many roaches and hydras with +2 weapons. That will guarantee the hatchery kill. So we're back down to a 2-base versus 2-base scenario. Here comes TLO though, fighting very valiantly, but he doesn't have the upgrade advantage. I don't think he can fight this out. He's losing drones, he realizes, and he pulls away. By the way, reinforcements streaming out of the Nidus Worm. This could be it for TLO. I don't know how he's going to hold on here. And TLO is looking very bad in this game. There's so many roaches and hydras at his front door. The drones have gone down. The remaining sole survivors from the last civilian battle have gone down. And Game of Drones, GG's. So there was a loss in this replay pack, which makes things very exciting for me because now we know that he doesn't win every single game. But you know what? I'm gonna have to take back my my little statement I said earlier. I won't be casting more Game of Thrones if he loses. Screw that, man. TLO is TLO. He can resurrect himself at any point. And you know what? You guys seem to enjoy this very much. I'm actually having a great time casting this because I've been watching Game of Thrones. Obviously, that's the little playoff here. If you guys weren't aware, it's a absolutely awesome series from HBO, depicting some medieval warfare and a battle for the crown. And TLO obviously realizing and making a little bit of a joke with his name. But you know what? Nothing too crazy in this game. Well, let me rephrase that. Crazy stuff was happening all out throughout the game, but I don't think there was ever a moment in this game where there was just one move that just absolutely flipped the tables. Except, I suppose, now that I think about it, there was this attack over here at the natural. This attack right here, absolutely bowled by SCW, and killing off not only this hatchery down here, but also the hatchery here, even though it cost him the lives of all these brave roaches. Guaranteed him to win. Really, he just set TLO so far back in economy, TLO could not keep up in the resource management game. And unfortunately, that I think was one of the major reasons why he lost. Obviously, the Mutalisks versus Roaches, it's more high flying, you know, high acrobatic play versus the more standard and safe Roach play. But I don't think TLO did the damage he needed to do with these Mutas. And it just set him so far back in upgrades on the ground, you know. All these mutas. I mean, one Mutalisk is essentially a grooved spine upgrade or a missile attack upgrade, and we can see he chose to invest into 6 or 7. So that was a pretty big setback, and could not win the battle on the ground because of that. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the little previously on Game of Drones, and hope you guys enjoyed episode 4 here, featuring, of course, the little one from Team Liquid. We're gonna have actually more of these coming out very soon. I'm having a great time doing this, and keep tuned in as well, because I'm going to be giving away some more free headsets courtesy of Gamecom Plantronics in one of the next upcoming replays. So
Stay tuned, guys. Episode 5 will be coming up next. This is HD, signing out.